right, welcome back to our social hour right here on K24 this morning with me, Shiko Kaitani. We're talking about planning for your funeral. If you are the type of person who, by the way, believes that a loved one deserves a decent send-off, my guests today are saying that there is an easy and hassle-free way to do this, and that's through funeral insurance. Would you be willing to take it up? It's all about planning and, of course, putting in a little bit of something every year just to ensure that when that time comes, be it you or a loved one, you move to the next world in a very seamless manner. And so we're asking you something that you probably have never thought of in a very long time, as whether or not you'd be open to the idea of planning your very own funeral. And we ask, if you don't think so, why wouldn't you? Well, someone says, I cannot plan for my funeral because why should I plan for an event that I will not be there for? It's a fun for those who will be there to determine about my present and my demise. Oh, wow. Okay. Hesbon Ayoti from Kirinyaga says, life is too short. We only live once. Live your life to the fullest because there's much to life than in death. I hate death. Wow. How will I plan to die at 19? Even if it is bringing things in order, no, I got a lot to achieve na nimeona future, and maybe you are tired of this world or tired in this world. Otherwise, it is a taboo to talk about death. Hata sijui mbona tunaongelea kifo. All right, thank you so much, Sherry. Someone says, I wouldn't want my family to do a harambe when I'm gone. Praying for long life at the same time. I think when I plan my funeral, I will reduce zile drama za lack of transport to the burial place, food, ikose, kutosha, then waniongelele. That is true. They always gossip about how much food there is. Actually, I don't understand why people plan/invest for their funeral. That's one thing I can never do. Obongo David. By the way, the story that I shared before we went on a commercial break was about one Agnes Adonyo, and the writer who managed to cover this particular funeral of her own, her late mother, said the only thing that people were discussing was what was not at the funeral. In other words, listen to what our last viewer said, or at least the last text message we read, that there won't be enough food and then they'll start gossiping about me. So she, on the other hand, is interested in planning for her funeral because she doesn't want that drama. Exactly. You know, she wants you to come and be comfortable at my funeral. Yes. But getting back to our discussion earlier on in terms of the cost implication, Jeru, what are you talking about in terms of expenses per year? So that people can understand. Let's do that recap for them. Okay.
When you look at the cost, the social burden of funerals in Kenya, it goes on rising and rising every day. Yeah. And one thing I always like stressing, putting an exclamation mark on, is that this is not the past that we are living in today. Right. Yeah, it's all monetary. Yeah, we don't pay in kind. Everybody has to chip in, and given the current economic status, the economy is in right now. Yeah, the burden keeps on getting worse. Now we are looking at the various aspects of death. Yeah. We have the hospital bills, we have the mortuary charges, we have logistics nightmares that you have to live around, you know, wrap your finger around so much that someone doesn't even know where to start or end. So as we said, you find someone, everybody coming up with forums where you can raise some money. Yeah, and everybody is under pressure economically nowadays. Right. And on average, let's say you spend around, for the average person, around 100,000 shillings for a good send-off. Yeah. So that's the social burden we are trying to alleviate. Okay. Yes, okay. Exactly.
There was also a question, or at least the confusion for some viewers in terms of trying to identify what really is the difference from what you regard or term as a last expense product versus a life insurance.
Okay, life insurance is basically a contract between an insurer and the insured for the insurer to pay a certain amount of money over that one contributes an annual premium paid normally monthly at the event of the death of the insured.
Yeah.
So that money is paid for the family. It's like saving for the economic future of your family.
Right.
That's a lump sum,
yeah.
and it's usually a sizable amount. Yeah. Maybe if it's your revenue, it could be 8 times your annual revenue paid off at the time of your death. So you might find someone getting millions and millions of shillings.
Yeah.
Yeah. But the premiums are sizable. Yeah. Premiums are of around 6,000 shillings per month. Yes.
All
that's
right.
life insurance. But last expense is just planning for that particular event. That's why it's called the last expense. Yeah. When you pass on, that particular expense to cater for your burial. That's it. Yes. So, and that's why you find the premiums are very minimal. Yeah. Some covers are going around for even 500 shillings per year.
Wow,
but the benefit,
that's impressive.
Very impressive. Yeah. But the benefit is very small.
Okay.
Yeah.
But I think anything is better than nothing. Really.
Anything is better than nothing.
It's when that event happens.
Yes.
That's when you say, "Thank God I had this."
Yes.
Thank God I had
actually,
this.
Maybe to add something on that, in the life insurance, we also have we offer an aspect of the last expense.
Okay.
Yeah, whereby you find it's standard around, some companies give between 75 to 100,000. Yeah, that's the last expense.
Yeah.
So you find the payout for the last expense is that small.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Should you have any questions either for Njeru or at least Josh this morning, please start sending in your questions. We're going to be sampling them in just a bit. And by the way, if you'd like to call in, just like Joshua did earlier on, and of course Jonathan, would love to hear your voice. Should you want to know anything about funeral insurance, and also tell us whether or not you would be willing to sign up. You know, when we talk about how such a cover dignifies the whole process, Josh, you know, the process around dying, funeral practices, and even the grieving process. Talk to us a little bit about that. How does it give dignity to the person who's going to be, you know, with the Lord, as we say?
Well, I think that a funeral cover, what it first of all gives is peace of mind.
Yeah.
And especially during that intense period where you're mourning and you're grieving your loved one, to then be in those emotions and then have to now reach out to people to fundraise.
Yeah.
Sometimes, you know, no one likes asking for money from other people. But when you have a funeral cover and you're guaranteed that all the expenses are catered for, and now, you know, you can rest easy knowing that the funeral will go on all right. I think we should also add that the cover also has a hospital benefit, because sometimes, you know, families have, you know, huge medical bills at the time someone is passing on. And then here we have, you know, the funeral expenses. So it can't be overbearing.
Okay. Hold that thought. Justus from Rongo is on the line. We've had Joshua, we've had Jonathan, and now we have Justus. Justus, good morning.
Good morning to you, Siko.
Yes, karibu sana. Thank you for calling in.
I am okay.
Yeah.
I just want to say that, you know, the issue of burials are more pegged in the cultural systems and the notions of people.
Right.
Like for us, kutoka kwa matanga bila chakula ni kama kuacha mdomo yako. So, it is very mandatory that people must eat in a funeral.
Right.
But then it proves it becomes very expensive for people.
Yeah.
So the families, the bereaved families, you get, that is the time when they're organizing their affairs. They are doing lots of things.
Right.
Which are very necessary.
Right.
And the corona proved us wrong on that.
Right.
With the advent of corona, you know, organizing those things and doing all those things were nonsense to the government. So we had to bury within a day. It was good to me.
Yeah.
So those expenses were curtailed. But then, being a cultural person and culture entails that we have to eat, we have to celebrate, and we have to wine in funerals.
Yeah.
and everybody deserves a decent burial. But then it is good for one to plan for the burial, everything. It is good to enter into an insurance and then plan your burial and plan everything. But it is taking a lot of money.
Right.
Yes, thank you.
Thank you so much, Justice, for, of course, your input and just being quite frank. And, you know, he's literally giving it to us as it is.
Exactly.
In Luo land, it is, by the way, part of the culture, lazima watu wakule.
Absolutely.
That is a must.
Yes.
So then this product should be flying off the shelf, don't you think, Jero? Because if you think about it, where we come from now, central Kenya, mukimo lazima ikue.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
Exactly. And another way to look at it, where we come from, central and also the larger eastern, what Justice has said is very right. Yeah. And it's a very practical solution to the burden that the people face whenever there is the demise of a loved one.
Yes.
Yeah. For very minimal premiums, you get a comprehensive cover.
Right.
Now, looking at where we come from, where people are very proletariat or something, bourgeoisie, people love working too much. You come from your office, you dash for a funeral, and you come back home to the office. Actually, I've seen such cases from Meru and from our neighbors. So I think it's also very practical because leave all the headache to the service provider.
Right.
Yeah. You just call the guy, by the way, where are you guys? Okay, I'm leaving the office, I'm coming down.
Right.
And to look at it from...
And Josh gets it done.
Josh gets it done.
Yeah.
Without a flaw. Yeah. They are one of the leading service providers in that field in the country.
Right.
Yeah. And actually that's why we partnered with them because of that. Yes. So as you said, it should be flying off the shelves.
Okay.
Yeah.
Josh, you were going to finish your point about how this type of cover would really dignify the entire process and, just give you the peace of mind. Peace is really what you need at that time.
Exactly.
Yeah, absolutely. Because when you lose your loved one, you've lost your mom, you've lost your grandmother, you lost your nephew, it's really not, your mindset is not in a space where you start thinking about money for the funeral, you know. And as Njero has said, this product gives you peace of mind because someone else takes care of it. You know, Montezuma is there to take care of all your funeral needs, and therefore you rest easy. You rest easy.
Okay. Yeah. Taking a look at what's up, Tafadali, Board Director, let's see what Kenyans have to say. Remember, we're asking you, would you be open to the idea of planning your funeral? Louis from Meru says, now, how can I plan and save for my death? That's money that should be used to other important things. Dicky from Meru says, as for me, Shiko, I always tell my friends my corpse should not render my family bankrupt. Even if I pass on in hospital with a bill of more than 100,000 Kenya shillings, let them leave me. I get disposed huko hosi. Jesus. Hizi vitu ndogo ndogo. Whoa, I don't think it's bad to prepare. Biblically, in Jesus' time, tombs were always ready for one when he or she dies. So it's not a bad thing. Okay, interesting perspective. Planning for funeral is key to all, however little it may be. One needs some financial solutions. Culture also plays a role. Some cultures can't be downplayed. Even Corona tried to fight it, but it could not succeed. True indeed. All right, hi. Kenya or Kenyans need to realize, like any other indemnity, the last expense is to leave your loved ones with peace of mind, just like the medical covers and motor vehicle cover. All these are for unforeseeable incidences, thus it shouldn't be any different. Death is inevitable. Is cremation included in the cover? Jero, put a pin on it. No. I cannot plan for my funeral, dear. It is my work. It is my work. Make sure that my life after death is secured. So go for Christ when I am still alive. But I know there would be a committee meeting during my final time. Watapanga yo maneno. Leonard from Narok County, Asante Sana. Kimemia, good morning. You say death is inevitable, but investing on something I cannot enjoy is something else. It's a good idea, but humans fear death. Something that needs a lot of thinking. Okay, let's pause right there so that we can engage the panelists. Your thoughts on what people are saying. Njeru, is cremation #1 covered?
Okay, very interesting views, yeah?
Yeah.
But I like them, all of them. You know, you learn from all this.
It's
true.
true.
You learn from all this and you know what to do after that.
Yeah.
Of course, it's a last expense cover.
Right.
So if
Like
you want to
other.
go the cremation way, now it's you to decide.
Right.
Yeah, it will be handled by
The service provider.
Everything
right.
will be taken care of. And then also, many are saying that nikitu kidogo, 100,000 shillings.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I think we can think around that. Yeah. You go to the hospital, you leave a bill of 1.5 million.
Right.
What you going to do about it? Now let's look at the burden that you are going to live with our loved ones. Okay, it's not a burden per se.
Yeah.
They loved us and everything, but you want to leave them with that peace of mind. So it's just being ready for the inevitable.
Okay.
And it's not just me. In my family, anything can happen to any member of my families, any of my beneficiaries, people who look up to me. Anything can happen to any of them.
I
you see?
know,
So
that's the scary thought.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And you don't know at what economic status they are going to get you, that is going to get you in. Yeah?
That's life,
Exactly.
unpredictable.
That's life. It's unpredictable.
Josh, look at what bulk of people are actually saying. The truth is, everybody has already assigned that mission to whoever will be alive at the time. It is not my problem. Watajipanga mbele. You do what you can. After all, I'm gone. Why am I investing in something that I can't enjoy? In other words, I'm investing for the whole village to have pilau on me. Right?
Yeah, it's very interesting because you realize that the people you leave behind, you know, you leave your loved ones behind. I've given the example of a breadwinner. They leave their wife and their kids. Who does the burden of the funeral fall to?
Okay, and then let me just stop you there. So do you think that if I am failing to plan for my funeral, it's rather a selfish act?
I could say
Absolutely,
so.
yes.
I could say
You think
so.
it's selfish?
Yes.
It's selfish, yes.
It is.
It's selfish.
It is.
Yes.
It is.
So for all those of you who said watajipanga, you are selfish. Actually, you're being selfish.
It is.
Okay.
And also you could see, we've seen very many features. Because, for example, we get features from the rural areas where someone has dug up their grave and has covered it and is ready that when they go, you know what? There'll be no stress. I already have my grave here.
Right. And people think you're crazy.
And
for
people
doing
think
that.
you're crazy, but that's part of planning. That's part of planning. So you can see planning is very diverse. You know, for the rural folk or that person, they may think digging a grave and getting it ready. That's their way of planning, you know. So I think it's not a foreign concept or a foreign idea to plan for a funeral. It's just the acceptability, and you know, not taking it as taboo.
And maybe to add something on that, the Shiko, we'll have to look at it from the concept of modern society. Things have really changed too much, and we see the repatriation of millions and millions of dollars from abroad by people who are contributing to funerals back home. Yes, so you see, it's a huge economic burden on the people, money that can be used for other things. So as I said, we need really to blow the trumpet and share information as much as possible, because you're only spending very little. We have like 12.2 million households in Kenya today.
Yes.
Yeah. So let's say there we are talking of about 12 million breadwinners. Yeah. So if each of that person took out that a cover, a last expense cover, their economic burden of send-offs would be a thing of the past in Kenya.
Okay.
Exactly, yes.
We only have 5 more minutes, gentlemen, so I want us to tackle just 2 more questions very quickly. Gerald, let me start off with you. You can continue by telling us at which point or in what circumstances would a claim be denied in the event someone did take a funeral cover and doesn't end up receiving their benefits? Okay,
for one, if when taking out the cover, you didn't give, you didn't practice the principle of utmost faith.
Right.
You should disclose all the information. Second, if a suicide, or participation in extreme sports, or active participation in riots and stuff like that, any exclusion under the standard insurance cover, it's excluded, yes.
Okay.
Yes. But everything is given out in the contract.
Right.
The contract as well.
All right. Let's see if my director can give us 2-3 more texts, and then we can say goodbye. If anything, I prefer the Muslim way. Burials ought to be family gatherings where people come to catch up. I really hate the pretense that comes with it. I lost my brother, and truth be told, the same family who was supposed to do more in terms of planning were the same ones expecting us, the bereaved, to do it. The figures they contributed was just a shame. All in all, this issue of the send-off thing is just overrated in my point of view. You're dead anyway. Okay, last one here that comes in from Makori Justine. Yes. It says, yes, it's essential for one to talk about his funeral, reason being this would enable the family to know how to divide the resources available if the deceased may tend to be polygamous, to avoid delay of funeral programming and chaos. Makori, that's a very interesting, very, very interesting perspective. Okay, I can't talk about my funeral right now. Reason being, I'm simply not ready. It's a taboo in our community to plan for the funeral program, yet you are still alive. All right, so as our closing remarks, Josh, let me hand this over to you on how we ought to sensitize people to just talk openly about death, planning, bereavement. I mean, how do we approach this conversation, even right in the household?
Absolutely. You know, we have to accept that death is an eventuality that we cannot escape from. And therefore, if we are sure, as they say, death and taxes are certain.
It's true.
So we have to plan for them, you know. We have to plan for the burial. We have to think about what happens after we pass on.
Right.
And the good thing is that we've seen, unfortunately, the chaos sometimes that can come around burials because of lack of planning, you know. In fact, there's one individual who told me they're taking the cover because the kind of chaos that there was in the burial of their father, they don't want to have such an experience.
Right.
So it's a way of also ensuring that there is order and that things flow smoothly, and as you said, you know, a seamless transition from life to the afterlife.
Absolutely. And so we hope, dear viewer, you'd be able to have the tough talk when the time comes right in your household. If you found this conversation beneficial, why don't you let us know through our social media platforms. Remember, you can also get in touch with Njeru Mwandiki. He is the head of business development from Clarkson Insurance Brokers, should you be interested in the last expense package. And of course, a big thank you to Josh Karoga. He is the operations manager at Montezuma Mona Lisa Funeral Home. You see it for yourself. Yes, they smile. Thank you, gentlemen, for making time. I really appreciate it. Okay, so from me, Shiko Kaitani, and of course the entire Breakfast Club, thanks a lot for watching. Have a beautiful day up ahead. The Daily Brief is up next. Bye-bye.